Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Game Fanatic Cook, and today we're going to be talking about the ghouls in the game of Warframe. Now, this is a pretty short video, or I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty short video, because there really isn't that much to ghouls. I was honestly a little bit disappointed because I was looking at the ghoul purge today. I was like, what's behind these ghouls? So I started searching it up. I went on the Warframe wiki, of course. I went on Reddit, seen people talking about it, talked to some people. Of course, asked people in the game of Warframe itself, some clan members. And then I, of course, looked in the game of Warframe itself. And those are the places I pretty much looked. And I believe they're comics as well, which I got that information from Reddit. I pretty much just pirated the whole comics by looking at people posting pictures of it. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. But basically, with all this information gathered, there's really not that much to ghouls, and there wasn't any really deeper searching to do. There wasn't really anywhere else to look to find out more about ghouls, because there really just isn't that much to them. Unfortunately, even though they're kind of sick, they're super cool horror monsters in the game of Warframe, which was why it piqued my interest into learning more about them and making this video, but there just isn't a whole much to them. So I want to get into what we do know about them. Maybe this will be developed in the future, so if this is out of date when you see it, I do apologize. The ghouls were created by a Dr. Tingus, or Tingus, I'm not sure how you say it. It is Tengus. I'm going with Tingus because it sounds funny. It reminds me of Kristaps Porzingis, the basketball player, but I think Tingus would also work. I'm going with Tingus though. Dr. Tingus, he created the ghouls with funding from Counselor Vahek. And the ghouls are basically sped up grineer clones and used from grineer remnants of dead grineer clones, because every grineer is a clone. And they are used and grown quickly and kind of just in a pretty nasty process. Not really a whole lot of thought is put into it. They lack the same mental capacity of a normal grineer soldier, obviously, and they're also much more aggressive because of it. And beyond that, they even have a much shorter lifespan because they're just quickly grown and kind of grown in bad conditions, with usually the slush of other dead grineer to create them. And then the reason these ghouls were ever even created is because Counselor Vahek was like, wow, creating these grineer clones takes a lot of resources and it's kind of expensive. Why don't we just make cheap ones? And yeah, that's how they made fucking ghouls. That's why I started making them. He was like, hey, Dr. Tingus, help me make these fucking cheap shock troops that, you know, maybe this isn't a fucking affront to God to create such hideous, evil, vile creations without giving them the proper mental capacity to even think for themselves. I mean, I guess they can, but it's very limited. It's like, let's just create these things because why the fuck not? And, you know, Dr. Tingus, who's, you know, if you look at his biography, he's kind of a piece of shit. So he was like, hell yeah, let's make shitty grineer soldiers that will live terrible, but at least short lives. And Counselor Vahek and Dr. Tingus worked together to do that. And the ghouls were such like a deranged idea that even Captain Vor said that he disagreed with them. Apparently that's a piece of lore I found, is that that Captain Vor disagreed with the creation of ghouls and thought it was kind of a disrespect to the grineer that are alive. Anyway, so they created the ghouls. Counselor Vahek funded. Dr. Tingus did all the smart people stuff. And they created them at the Grustrag reconditioning facility that was ran by Dr. Tingus. And Tingus at this point did work for Vahek. I believe he was a subordinate to him, because Vahek is obviously very high ranked in the grineer army. Anyway, so they created the ghouls, and then how you create ghouls is they basically put them in these pods, these cloning pods. But these pods are fucking disgusting. They're useless. They're shitty pods. They shouldn't be used for cloning. And then they take these pods, and then while the pods are currently growing the ghouls, they shoot the pods into the fucking from space onto a planet, and those pods then bury into the ground and eventually open up when the ghouls are ready to pop out, and the ghouls come pop out and just start killing everything around them. And that's how they're so easy. You can deploy them quickly, cheaply, and there's, you know, you can make a lot of them pretty easy. And yeah, because they're so dumb, they really don't have the ability to use weapons, I imagine, to the same extent that normal grineer soldiers do, which is why there's just like fucking chainsaws strapped on them and shit. And yeah, it's just wild, and they just run around stabbing people, because I'm sure that works out better. Also, there are ones that are so like mentally underdeveloped that they are just used as suicide troops. So I mean, this is a pretty awful creation. You're just creating these ghouls. I mean, they're all suicide troops because they're sending them to their deaths. But what do you make some of them that are literally just like the suicide bomb? It's pretty terrible. They ghouls display a pack mentality, and the smarter, more powerful ghouls tend to become the alphas of that pack and kind of lead them with brutality and just kill a bunch of shit and just lead the way killing shit. So that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking through my notes here. There's really not too much going on. Oh, actually, I almost missed something. A couple interesting things. I apologize. This video is so unorganized, and it is because I'm just trying to like I'm trying to make this information. I'm trying to throw it together in a way that sticks and makes sense. But it's just like so piecey. Like there's just so many different pieces that it really don't fit together into like a cohesive story that I'm kind of just jumping around a lot, and I apologize. But along with ghouls being great suicide bombers, they have paralytic blood, which paralytic means basically paralyzation. But since there isn't a paralyzed stat in Warframe, they deal toxin and cold damage after death. But lore-wise, they will paralyze the person that gets the blood on them. Like a bunch of ghouls attacked an Excalibur Warframe, and eventually the Excalibur Warframe got so much blood on him that he became paralyzed and was eventually actually captured by Captain Vor, who didn't like ghouls but did end up using ghouls. Anyway, that's something completely different. Oh yeah, to prove how useful and aggressive ghouls are, Dr. Tingus actually pushed General Vahak, or is it Admiral Vahak? Admiral Vahak into a pit full of ghouls in front of the Twin Queens, and they basically tore them to pieces. And the Twin Queens, holy shit, then was like, wow, they're pretty savage. I like those. Let's make more of them. But then they said also piece up Vahak because he's not dead yet. So like take his decapitated head basically and put it on some robot bodies, Dr. Tingus. And then continued fun fact after that, after Dr. Tingus betrayed Vahak terribly and nearly killed him, they still work together very closely to this day. And surprisingly, Vahak refers to the ghouls as his children, and they're his favorite type of troops, and pretty much in the Grineer army. For some reason, even though they almost killed him, I'm guessing it's because Vahak is fucking insane and just likes violence, and they're basically just violence personified or Grineerified. I'm so funny. And yeah, they're extremely aggressive, they're mean. There just really isn't a whole lot of things to say about them, because they were created just because they're cheap shock troops that can quickly be used to invade a territory that the Grineer really don't want to claim for their own and just want to kind of kill everyone. So they just drop them down just to kill a bunch of people, and they don't want to waste their actual good Grineer clones. Which I want to talk about for a second, because it's like, we're talking about these ghouls, about how like unintelligent they are. I mean, they're unintelligent compared to, like, they're still sentient. They're still smart enough to have like kind of emotions, kind of like talk and stuff, but not really. And that's bad enough that you're just sending them to die. But think about how many just like normal Grineer clones are sent to die, and they're actually intelligent. You know, like that's fucked. Like Grineer, every time you kill a Grineer clone, you're killing a person, and that's just kind of sad and fucked up. You're like a mass murderer. Like at what point are you killing so many people that's like, it doesn't matter how bad they are, you are also a bad person. You killed so many. But yeah, that's all I have on the ghouls. I know it wasn't a whole lot. I know it was terribly put together and formatted. This was a pretty awful video, I'm not going to lie. But it's because I really didn't know how to connect each of the talking points about the ghouls, because they're just not that much. There's not that many talking points. and then they don't really go together that well. Besides for like the early lore, which was like 2 minutes of talking, you know, it doesn't really go that well in order. Yeah. Ghouls are cool though. I like them as enemies, and not everything needs deeper lore. Of course, you would like it to have deeper lore and a really cool story, but not every enemy needs a deeper lore, because, you know, the fact that they were made just to be shock troops and were cheap, I mean, that just makes sense. This perfectly makes sense, you know. Warframe covered their bases. It's not like there's a plot hole. That makes sense to me. I agree with it. It's just I wish there was like maybe they accidentally cursed some grineer and they're like, we could use this in combat or some crazy shit. But you don't need that for everything. So yeah, that's Ghouls and Warframe. Got anything else you want to add? Please let me know. I think that pretty much covers most of it. Thank you. Peace out. Stay blessed. Love you guys. Also, we are on the road to 200 subs. I set the goal for the end of the month for 200. I don't think we'll hit it because that's pretty insane. But I don't want to say end of the year because like I hope we hit it by then. But besides that, thank you to everyone that's been supporting and subscribing, and everyone that has been subscribed and likes videos and all that. I really appreciate it. And if you comment, I appreciate that. And I usually respond to all of them, so I probably responded to you. So thank you guys, and peace out.